Yes guys, good morning, welcome to Supercars of London. It is a very, very early start, but there is a good reason for that, because behind me I've got the BMW M135i that I took down to Barkaways. And I've done a little bit of research on this car, and I've also done 500 miles in it in the last 3 days. I've also got the Ford Focus ST, which is just out of shot at the moment because I still haven't cleaned the leaves off, but bear with me. Well, what happened after I removed the leaves from the Focus ST? I parked it up next to the BMW M135i. I was going to do a full comparison back-to-back test and hopefully give some pretty good consumer advice about what car you should go and buy, what car was more fun, and fundamentally, just have a little bit of a laugh at the same time. Well, in fact, I hooked the cameras up on the BMW M135i, went for a 15-minute drive, and, well, had a little bit of a rant. Now the BMW M135i, I'm going to rattle off all of the figures that I've done a little bit of research on now, or at least the most important figures that we need to worry about. So this car spec'd up is around 40 to 43,000 pounds. This exact car is around 43,500 pounds, which is a lot of money, but inside you've got a massively updated BMW interior. Everything is very well put together. It's very Germanic. You feel like you're driving a BMW M car when it's static. Now, as we move on to the technology, everything is just updated. Everything is better than the old one. I'm just going to go with it. The exterior, still can't quite get my head around the looks and the design, and by the sounds of it, neither can you guys. So we will completely put that to one side. But then we start getting into the engine. It is a brand new 2-litre turbocharged engine that puts out just over 300 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 is 4.8 seconds. And the BMW 1 Series and the M135i, it's just gone, what can I help you with? But because I've muted it, I'm going to turn it off. Whenever you say BMW, the assistant comes on and asks for help. It's really annoying. The BMW M135, for the first time, has xDrive. Now what that means is it is a technologically impressive feat that allows the car to be driven at normal speeds like now in front-wheel drive mode. So it's probably a little bit more efficient, just poozles around town. You don't really ever think about it being in front-wheel drive. And then when you start getting on it, it can transfer power to the rear of the car, making it a 4-wheel drive system, which it is clever. How do I stop this? This is getting to the point where it's ridiculous now. There we go. I'm getting so angry. So I'm trying to tell all the good bits, or the bits of information that you need to know, because this new 4-wheel drive system, plus the power, the gearbox, all of the technology in here, the 2-litre turbocharged engine is more efficient, lighter, more powerful, but less characterful. Simple as that. The old M135s and the old 140s, I loved those cars, and whilst I didn't have a great deal of experience behind the wheel of them, I still appreciated them when I saw them on the road. This looks a little bit like an X2 Grand Tourer thing that's lost a little bit of its identity. At some angles it looks like it's sitting too high. It looks like the roofline is too high, and the angles on the car, not a fan. I'm not a fan of the way this thing looks, but actually it drives just as bad as it looks. And I love BMWs and the way that they drive, but this is the worst driving BMW M car I've ever driven. And I'm saying that in full confidence, having done 430 miles in this car in Sport, Comfort and Eco Pro. Eco Pro is the soppiest setting for an M car I've ever heard and ever driven in. Comfort mode is fine. Comfort mode, you can daily drive, but then just go and buy the 1 Series. The Sport mode, yes, it's fast, but we found out that fast isn't everything The engine has no character, it has no soul, it doesn't sound good. There's audio that gets pumped in to try and enhance the way that that engine sounds. It's not good. But what I get worried about with this car is its X-Drive system. Yes, you don't break traction on slippery roads like today, but you kind of want a little bit of slip in an M car. You want a little bit of fun. And I know you'll get that if you turn traction control off. I can't help but feel like BMW have compromised the drive of this car for a little bit more traction and a little bit more of a safety net, which frustrates me because M cars are supposed to be a little bit hairy, they're supposed to keep you on your edge, and they're supposed to scare you a little bit. So that is what I don't like about the car, but also the front end of this I've got no confidence in. I've got no confidence in the tyres, I've got no confidence in the turn-in, which translate to the steering, meaning that for the first time ever, I haven't liked the BMW steering. It is my favourite element on any car, anywhere in the world, is the way that a BMW M3, M4, M5 handles, and the steering and holding on. This car is a little bit too light. When you're properly on it, you get a little bit of understeer, and therefore you don't have the confidence to push on in this car because I don't know how connected the front wheels are to the steering wheel. So I really wanted to like this car because I never drove the M135i, and like I said previously, I've only driven an M140 for the space of 5 minutes and loved it. The back end squirmed, the steering was bang on, it looks sleek, it looks curvy, it looks smooth. The interior you could deal with. And this is the grand finale, the pinnacle of this drive, where this car is 43 grand. For 41 grand, you can buy a year-old M2 competition. You can also buy a 2017 C63 Mercedes. You can also buy an R8 V10. So, I mean, even if you wanted to buy new on an M135i, you would buy the A35 AMG in a heartbeat because the interior is that much better, it looks nicer, drives pretty much the same, but flicking it into auto, it does exactly the same thing. Feels like exactly the same car. So, I've ranted a little bit, but I'm very disappointed in this car. And this is the first time that I've really been disappointed in a car that I've driven in a long time. I think a lot of new cars now are so good that they're a little bit too clinical, a little bit too perfect, that they're losing a little bit of the character. But not this bad. Not in a BMW M car that I'm so passionate about. In the way that they drive, this should not have an M badge. I'm gonna leave it there. Yep, that happened. And I stand by everything that I said. This car goes back today. I've done over 600 miles in this car, and I think everything that I said was fair because it is a clinically better car than the M140i. It is a better car on paper than its predecessors, but everything that is better about this car has somehow sapped any character or soul away from the car. And the M140i is such a fun little machine that is just a grown-up, matured version that just is not as fun. And unfortunately, in my eyes, a BMW M car needs to be fun, it needs to keep you on your toes, and this car is unfortunately very fast, the gearbox is very smooth. Inside, you can daily drive this with your eyes closed, but as a fun factor, this does not even get a 1 star out of 5. So, it's not often that I get to jump in a cool car like this and absolutely rip it apart, because most of the time, there are some really good bits to take away from a specific car, and with BMW, they make amazing drivers' cars, and somehow they've missed the mark with this. It's the only way that I can summarize this video. I will do a video on the Focus ST because for £34,000, that is much better value and actually a much more fun car to drive fast. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and have taken something away from it because, yeah, I'm quite glad that BMW are coming to collect this car today, and fingers crossed, I've got another BMW on the way, and I think I'm going to like that way more than that. So I'll see you soon. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and take care. Goodbye.